Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one. So I hope everyone's had a good week, and I hope you're ready for the weekend, and y'all all got something fun going on. So today we will break out the race card because I know this channel is just popping off. But just for those who didn't know, yes, I am black, and I do sound white on the phone, so get over it. But today we're going to talk politics, and we're going to talk about Stacey Abrams and what this particular topic is part of a long-standing problem that's been going on in politics, and especially the black community. So let's just jump into this article that I found on Yahoo News, and it's Stacey Abrams looks to win black men and bid for Georgia governor. So the article says the Democrat Stacey Abrams was on stage for an hour with radio and television host Charlamagne the God and rapper 21 Savage when she faced a question from a skeptical audience member. Now, even from the jump, why do they have Charlamagne there and 21 Savage? Most of the black men who are showing up to a vote are, especially in Georgia, they would be farmers or blue collar guys. The majority, yes, there's businessmen and lawyers and stuff, but the majority are either law enforcement, former law enforcement, former military. Just the regular average working Joe Blow brother. And you're going to have 21 Savage there? Like, they're already missing the mark. So this audience member says, a lot of politicians speak about their plan and what they plan to do, but I also notice that I never hear a clear turnaround of when their plan will go into effect, said Saheem Perry, who lives in suburban Atlanta. If it doesn't happen within the time that's been promised, how should we feel about our vote? Perry captured the alienation some black Americans feel about the political process. Democrats court their votes every election year, yet sometimes struggle to deliver on certain promises. But in her bid to become America's first black woman governor, Abrams needs support even from disillusioned voters. That is true, because she needs all the help that she can get. The concern is especially acute when it comes to black men who analysts suggest have trickled recently to Republicans. Now, sidebar, this is true, because a lot of the millennial and zennial black men that I know voted for Trump. And if they didn't vote for Trump the last time, they actually wish he was in the office now. So something is going on. There is a shift. If I remember correctly, and correct me in the comments, black women vote for Democrats 98% of the time, and black men it's like 80% and falling. It might be less than that. I think it's like 75%. So someone has numbers, drop them in the comments. A large majority of black men have still cast votes for Democrats in recent elections, meaning the biggest fear in a tight race is that they won't vote at all. Abrams acknowledges the possibility. She built her national profile by insisting Democrats can compete in Georgia, a long-time Republican stronghold. If they attract marginal or disaffected voters, including black men. Now, Abrams says, if black men turn out in the numbers, if black men turn out in the numbers and support me at the level they're capable of, I can win this election. Because we know black men sometimes punch below their weight class. Now, let's stop here. Sidebar. Listen to this language, okay? And this is supposed to be her bid to get black men on her side. Black women have a way of mommying black men. Just listen to this. If black men turn out in numbers and support me at the levels they're capable of, imagine you have a child and you go, well, I know that if he can perform in English class the way that he's capable of, do you see that language there? Oh, my son plays bad basketball, and I know that if he plays at the level he's capable of, because sometimes he punches below his weight class. This is complete. It's disingenuous and it's disrespectful, and people might think that it's a small thing, but if you're trying to appeal to a group to have this support you, this is not the way you go. So, let's scroll down here because I don't want to read this whole thing. Said Abrams delivered bits of her speech, blah blah blah. The topics of the speech, they were tilted towards the audience, with discussions of how Abrams opposes letting prosecutors use rap lyrics in gang prosecutions, and how she wants to decriminalize it but not legalize marijuana because she fears federal charges. Now, I didn't see the speech, but you would think the most important thing that they would point out, and I hope that's in her speech, is better school and academic outcomes for black boys and black men, more black male teachers in schools, so that they're not surrounded by a gynocentric school system that always focuses on giving black boys, well, boys in general, white or black, but mostly black boys, negative outcomes. That's not in there. So let's kind of scroll down towards the bottom here. Yet, in these and other elections, a significantly larger share of black women voted than black men. A subtext in Abrams' effort is that black men may be overshadowed in the Democratic Party by black women. Here we go. Black women have long been an anchor of Democrats' coalition. They were credited with putting Alabama Democrat Doug Jones over the top in the U.S. Senate victory in 2017. And then Biden's path to the White House further affirmed black women's political power. And yet, it's funny, sidebar, that Stacey Abrams thought she was going to get the vice presidential nomination, and they left her out high to dry. So what power does she actually have? Scrolling down a little bit more. I don't know how to say this person's name. Nisei Ufot, who leads the New Georgia Project, a voting rights group Abrams founded as a state lawmaker, said that it would be disingenuous to say that the newfound attention on black women is quote-unquote not a factor in how some black men view politics currently. But Ufot said any resentments quote-unquote are not as big a deal as the hand-wringing class might think. The question is whether she can make the hard sell, taking the case directly to black men. Abrams herself disputes any characterization that her focus on black men reveals a weakness in her campaign. And that right there is an issue, because you're trying to appeal to us as black men, but then you're also saying I want you, but I don't need you. See, if she'd have said that she messed up by not trying to get black men, that was a weakness in her campaign, that might galvanize us a little more to have us feel appreciated. But she can't even do that. So let's just close this article up. There are black men's democratic problems in California. It's just not us. There's softness because black voters in America are having this collective experience. People do not feel seen and heard. They don't feel that way about Stacey because Abrams is showing up. So ultimately, they're saying Stacey Abrams is showing up, and at the end of the article, they just make us into a side note, and that's just not gonna work. It's not. So let's look at this video here, and this is an MSNBC news clip about Stacey Abrams, and I don't know who these jokers that they have on here. I don't, but there's one small part of this clip that I want to go to here, and I don't. This hostess, I think that's Roland Martin. I don't want to listen to anything any of these jokers say. But this face is funny because this is a face that I would be making listening to this chick's mouth on here. But let's just go to her little clip. And what did Kevin Samuel say? Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. So in this, I can say, having watched this clip, even though the men were saying some silly stuff, they were at least trying to offer solutions. And the woman who's the host, of course, has to go into some sign language. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Let's get into it.
Media.
Absolutely.
Cliff, listen, I think Roland made a really legitimate point here. I will say, you know, a lot of black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland.
What if they say everything before but is bullshit? And here it comes. I'm going to back it up just a little bit. Let's go.
Sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point that felt ignored. But you feel ignored, and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed. So then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women. Is majority, like he said, vote Democrat, but that margin of people who
I can't even watch it. What? Okay. First of all, these three dudes are simps for just sitting here smiling at this bullshit in the first place. But she's trying to say that she doesn't understand how people that feel ignored and displaced can vote for the other side. And that you should just fall in line like good little boys. No, that's not who black men are anymore. It's just not. And I'm telling you, as younger millennial men and Gen Z and Zennial black men are growing up, if the Democrats don't do something, you will see a big shift towards the Republican Party. And this woman here, this was the only thing that she had to add to the whole conversation. None of these guys said any of this. Well, you know, I can't believe y'all. Blah, 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 blah. She had to go in and insult and make insults and shaming language. And that's, imagine that you're on the fence. Let's go to fairy tale land and say that you thought this conversation was good and could have swayed you one way. That last little clip that you saw, I guarantee, turned off the majority of black men who were gonna actually listen to this with an open mind. And what's even worse is it's making these three simp morons look bad, because look at this dude in the middle's grin on his face. No one checked her. No one challenged her. Yes, she is the host of the show. But to be, hey, look, like, what is the insult? Like, what you gotta insult people? You know? And this is gonna keep happening, and they're basically digging their own grave. So that's the long and the short of the article and the video. But let's just talk about the state of what, like, it in general, before I close. Stacey Abrams and the whole Democratic Party brought this on themselves because the far right, doesn't like black men because we're black. The far right. The far left doesn't like black men because we're male. So a lot of black men feel displaced. But the ridiculously obvious anti-male, anti-masculinity image coming from the left is going to push men in general to the right. And for all the other races of men who are watching this, black people are always, what we call the canary in the coal mine. What happens to us happens to you guys next. So what happens to black men is going to happen to white men, and then happen to Hispanic men, and happen to Asian men, whatever. So always look at what black men are putting up with. Our women were loud and crazy and rude and single moms, and now it's permeating society. So always look at what black men are dealing with, and then look at your sons or your little brothers, and understand that they're gonna have to deal with that soon. But Stacey Abrams and even Hillary Clinton, she was told that, hey, you need in your campaign some black black male avatar, some black male representative, someone that black men can relate to. And Hillary said, no, I don't. And she lost. Stacey Abrams did the same thing, and she lost. And now, just like in the article said, well, I wouldn't say that not reaching out to black men is a weakness in my campaign. Yes, it is. So, in the end, whoever this hostess is, eat a bag of dicks. And then Stacey Abrams, you know what? I hope you lose. I hope that you lose, and I hope that you learn a lesson. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't do half-hearted attempts and have conversations for the brothers and be sitting in a barbershop. You need to be serious about trying to have black men as part of your agenda. And to all the black men who are watching this, as I close, for the first time, the politicians are actually trying to compete for our votes. This has never happened in my lifetime. Multiple states, multiple politicians are making our interest part of their campaign. This means that what the black manosphere and all the rest of these black male-dominated areas is doing, it's working. So if you are part of the manosphere, if you are part of a men's group or a men's Reddit thread or whatever, keep doing what you're doing. And we can make more progress. Men in general, guys, we need to make them compete for our votes. We need to make them understand that we won't stand for this gynocracy. We won't. All right, you guys. It's AJ here. I'm out. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe.